Malta, this tiny island on the fringes of Europe, just off the North African coast, is well known as a sun-soaked tourist destination in the Mediterranean, and somewhat less well known as a financial tax haven. Curiously, however, Malta also houses some incredibly ancient secrets. Some of the oldest surviving freestanding structures in the world are in Malta, prehistoric temples that predate even the Egyptian pyramids and Stonehenge. Who was it that built these structures in Malta? And why do the world's oldest structures even stand here at all? Stay connected if you want to find out more. And please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you would like to discover more curious connections around the world. The story of Maltese civilization began approximately 8,000 years ago, when the first settlers arrived from nearby Sicily and other parts of the Mediterranean. These Neolithic people brought with them knowledge of agriculture and stone construction, which over time they developed and used to build extraordinary temples. Over centuries, a distinct megalithic tradition emerged in Malta, unique from other parts of the world. This culminated in the construction of large temple complexes around 3600 to 2500 BC. This is known as the Temple period in Maltese history, and it was during this period that Malta's most impressive temples were built. The country of Malta actually consists of two main islands, the larger island of Malta itself and the island of Gozo. Despite their relatively small size, a surprising number of these prehistoric structures still dot the landscape of both islands. The Neolithic temples on Malta and Gozo are remarkable for several reasons. They are amongst the oldest surviving freestanding monuments in the world, predating the pyramids of Giza by almost 1,000 years, and Stonehenge by about 500 years. Freestanding means they stand alone, like the stones of Stonehenge, rather than being built against a wall or in a cave. Very little is known about the mysterious civilization that built these temples. They left behind no written records and did not have metal tools or even wheels, yet they created these highly complex structures. The temples were constructed using huge limestone blocks, many weighing several tons, without the use of mortar. The temples reflect a deep respect for nature. For instance, the temple at Menidra is aligned with the sun during the summer solstice, indicating its use for astronomical observations. The megalithic temples of Malta were listed as UNESCO World Heritage Sites, starting with the Gigantia temples in 1980. The listing was expanded in 1992 to include Hajarim, Menidra, as well as 3 other temple sites. The Gigantia temples, located on the island of Gozo, date back to around 3600 to 3200 BC and are amongst the oldest of Malta's ancient temples. The name Gigantia comes from the Maltese word for giants, reflecting the legend that they were built by a race of giants who once lived on the island. Gigantia is arranged in a cloverleaf shape, with 5 apses radiating from a central corridor. Some of the temple's massive stone blocks weigh up to 50 tons. The temples of Hajarim and Menidra, both perched on a hilltop overlooking the sea, are some of Malta's most impressive and best preserved sites. Dating back to 3000 BC, they consist of 2 separate temples about 500 meters apart. The name Hajarim means standing stones, likely referring to the large limestone blocks that form the temples. Remarkably, both temples are aligned with the solstices, Hajarim with the winter solstice and Menidra with the summer solstice. It's incredible to think that such ancient structures exist on these tiny remote islands in the middle of the Mediterranean. However, considering Malta's location, close to the cradle of civilization in the Middle East, as well as to Europe and North Africa, it makes more sense. But that's not all there is to Malta. The country's strategic location has made it a crossroads of civilizations throughout history. After the mysterious people who built the Neolithic temples on Malta, some of the visitors to the island include the Phoenicians, who established trading posts and formed Medina, known today for its stunning medieval and Baroque architecture. Malta became integrated into the Roman Empire. The Domus Romana, a Roman-era townhouse discovered by accident in the stunning city of Rabat, houses mosaics that date back to the 1st century BC. The Arabs only ruled Malta for a brief period, but their influence can be seen in place names such as Medina, the Arabic for city, as well as the introduction of cotton, oranges and lemons to the islands. Malta returned to Christian rule with the invasion of Count Roger I of Sicily, and the islands became part of the Kingdom of Sicily for 440 years. In 1530, Holy Roman Emperor Charles V granted the islands of Malta, Gozo, as well as the city of Tripoli to the Knights of St. John in perpetual lease. Malta's stunning capital city of Valletta, itself a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its Baroque architecture, was founded by the Knights and experienced its golden age during this period. The Maltese cross, closely associated with the Knights, remains a powerful symbol for Malta, representing their dedication to defending Christianity and their role as protectors of pilgrims and the injured. The Order of St. John weakened towards the end of the 18th century, and even Napoleon briefly took control of the islands, but just for 2 years. More recently, Malta was a British colony for about 160 years. The legacy of British rule remains in English being an official language in Malta and in various neoclassical buildings across the country. Malta gained independence from Britain in 1964 and became a republic in 1974. The country joined the EU in 2004. And Malta is not just rich in history. Despite its small size, the islands offer an incredible number of attractions to keep any tourist occupied, such as the stunning capital of Valletta with its rich history linked to the Knights of St. John, the Blue Grotto, a stunning sea cave system with crystal clear blue waters, the Blue Lagoon on Comino, perfect for swimming and snorkeling, the medieval walled city of Medina with its atmospheric narrow streets, the lush countryside of the island of Gozo, St. Peter's Pool, a natural rock pool ideal for sunbathing and swimming, the charming fishing village of Marsaschlock. And if some of these locations look somewhat familiar, that's because many parts of the island served as filming locations for the epic series Game of Thrones. Modern Malta has 2 official languages, English and Maltese. Maltese, a Semitic language closely related to Arabic, is spoken by the majority of the population. For historical reasons, the Maltese decided to also keep English as an official language following the country's independence in 1964. This makes the country exceptionally welcoming to international tourists. Today, Malta is a thriving, modern and affluent country. Since joining the EU in 2004, it has experienced significant growth, particularly in tourism, financial services and gaming. However, the country's tax regime, low corporate tax rates and generous tax incentives have led some to label Malta a tax haven. Additionally, Malta's controversial citizenship by investment program has drawn criticism for potentially undermining democratic institutions and attracting wealthy, though perhaps questionable, individuals. The 2017 assassination of investigative journalist Daphne Caruana Galizia, who was exposing corruption in Malta, has also cast a shadow over the country. These events, however, are just part of the modern chapter of Malta's fascinating and layered history. From the ancient megalithic temples standing as silent witnesses to the ingenuity of early civilizations, to the country's vibrant culture today, Malta offers a unique blend of past and present and has something for anyone who chooses to visit.